War is raging, government is stealing our freedom, food processing plants are burning, and gun sales are through the roof. You're in the right place. This is The Prepared Mind. Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Hey, we are back, and it's the Zoo. It is Sunday Night Live, our flagship big show for the week. I love Sunday Night Live. It's a way to sit down, have some drinks with you guys, and get ready for the week. Now, we've got, starting off tonight, we've got Darcy T with a $50 super chat. We've got Chin Music with the 5308 super chat. We got Nancy Keg with a $20 super chat donation. Well, Chin Music needs to get his question into me and Uman, but I'm going to start with Darcy T. And she's got an interesting set of questions on an interesting SHTF occurrence. But first, if you do a super chat donation of $50 or more, I get a 15-year single malt Scotch whiskey, which, of course, will lubricate the brain and keep the tongue warmed up. And for all you patriots, Americans, those around the world who love freedom, and of course, all veterans, here's to you, salut and semper fi. Oh, woo! Off to the show. Now, Darcy's T says, she says, here's my question for tonight's Zoo. What do you make of the Mexican tall ship hitting the Brooklyn Bridge in New York? It sounds eerily familiar to the ship that hit the bridge in Virginia when it suddenly lost power. Deliberate? And now Chuck Schumer is blaming Trump, relieving Admiral Linda Fagan and placing a hiring freeze for Vessel Traffic Control Services. Your take? Well, number one, I want to know what a military ship from a foreign country that was made in the 1800s is doing up the Hudson in New York City. And it's a sailing vessel. 3 gigantic masts reaching into the sky, right? Now, this has been a hell of a ship in the 1800s. What's it doing in New York? What is the Mexican Navy doing in New York? Cinco de Mayo was a couple of weeks ago, right? I don't understand. What do I make of it hitting the bridge? Well, Darcy T says it sounds eerily familiar, like the bridge. I think it was in Baltimore, right? It lost power and drifted and took out that whole bridge. It does kind of have an eerily similar thing, like the ship in Baltimore. it lost power. How can a ship, especially one that large, which are known to have redundant systems, backup systems, how can it just go dark? There was a big accusation that it was hacked. And we're also kind of getting some of that information on this ship, right? So Uman talked to some boat captains, he says, and he said, look, they had, looks like they lost control. Now, this ship, I believe, has been fitted with motors. That's my understanding, even though it's a sailing vessel. But was it hacked? You know, and the question about whether or not it was drifting or whether it was being powered and pushed along by tugs, And did the tugs lose power? Did they have something go haywire? The whole thing stinks, in my opinion. It's ridiculous. Fortunately, wooden ship with wooden masts did not harm the bridge, thankfully. Sadly, a couple of Mexican sailors have died, and many, many are injured because they were in the old ways. Men would climb the masts and climb out and unfurl the sheets. The sails. So there were men all over these masts, and one after another. There's some question. The vessel was really moving very, very quickly, so I just don't think it was drifting. But just what a interesting fuck up. Now moving on to Chuck Schumer. I guess everything is Trump's fault, right? Everything's Trump's fault, right? Now, Admiral Linda Fagan, I believe, was the admiral in the Navy who refused to acknowledge Trump, Vice President Vance, and the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. And so she was fired. And I don't think that has a fucking thing to do with vessel traffic control services, right? I don't know if there's a hiring freeze there, but of course that's what Chuck Schumer is saying. They're also making all sorts of claims, right? Whether it's Chuck Schumer or Elizabeth Lying Hontus Warren or Nancy Pelosi or Hillary Clinton, everything they say is a fucking lie. It's fabricated. It's made up to make Trump look bad. The mainstream media says so everyone who's an idiot believes it. And I don't believe a fucking thing any of them say. I look at this as some sort of weird-ass incident because no one's really outraged, but it is a weird-ass incident. What the fuck is a 120-year-old naval vessel doing in New York City? All right. Thank you, Darcy T. Well, yeah, are they trying to normalize shipping accidents? I don't see the upshot to that. I don't see the point to it. It's just a weird, weird thing. All right. I'm waiting. Also, Chin Music. You've done the super chat. Now we need your question. Let's move on, if we shall, while waiting for Chin. And let's do Nancy Keg. Yeah, let's get her up here on the board. What have we got here? And oh, yes, there's a super chat button right up there, or down below is Venmo, CashApp, PayPal. Sunday Night Live is a great show because it's your show. You guys run the show. You get to ask the questions, and you also, by doing so, simultaneously support the channel. Pays for our servers, our subscriptions, pays for everything, keeps the lights on, right? Keeps the fun flowing, keeps me in this chair rather than out there. And I'd much rather, folks, be spending time with you guys, of course, than out there running into bridges and ships. All right, Uman, do we have Nancy Keg? Is she all good? Yes, we're all set. She says, hey, just for your choices of subjects this evening, a $20 super chat donation. And she says, Semper Fi, Prepared Mind family. Well, I tell you what, let's have some fun with this one. Nancy says, I get to pick. I'll do that. So, Tampon Tim Walz. Remember that guy, the vice presidential nominee for the Democrat Party? Tim Walz, affectionately known as Tampon Timmy or Twinkle Toes. He has compared immigrations and customs enforcement agents to a, quote, modern-day Gestapo, Nazis. Now, I want to make it very clear that President Barack Hussein Obama, when he took over president, deported more illegals than Trump has at this point. And not by a small margin, way more illegals. But somehow, now, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement is Gestapo. Bill Clinton, you bet. George W. Bush. He got rid of more than Trump. Trump is trying to get rid of them, but he's being stonewalled. Oh, yeah, by judges and stinking Democrats everywhere. But that's not going to stop the Democrat lies. Twinkle Toes Tampon Timmy called them modern day Gestapo. But, if Democrats tell the cops to arrest people for breathing in public, during COVID, or shopping during COVID, then, right, government agents are the good guys, arresting old women on park benches, arresting people trying to go to the beach, arresting people who want to take a walk and get some fresh air. They're out arresting Americans. No problem. No problem. Framing American patriots in Washington, D.C. by attacking them with rubber bullets, by attacking them with tear gas canisters, by attacking them with flashbang grenades, and attacking them with batons. That government action under, well, that's right, that government action under Nancy Pelosi's call. That's not Gestapo. And then Joe Biden, when he told us he's growing impatient, right? That wasn't Nazi-like as he stood there bathed in red light, right? And just, good God, right? We got lied to about the Jim Jones juice. We got lied to about COVID. But I guess the United States government, the National Institutes of Health, the Centers for Disease Control, they didn't act Gestapo-like, did they? Yeah, I tell you. Everything is Trump's fault. Everything is your fault. Everything is all of our fault. And the government, for trying to do what it is supposed to do, what we voted for, is modern day Gestapo. Isn't it interesting how the Nazis are still the most evil, vile people that ever walked the face of the earth? Quite interesting, isn't it? When everyone just seems to not give a shit about the communists and how many people they killed. The communists killed close to 100 million people, whereas the Nazis only killed 10 million. And the state of Israel claims that 6 million Jews were killed. Did you know that also during World War I, the number 6 million also appeared when referencing Jews and the damage that was done? Yeah, World War I, apparently 6 million of them died as well. It's just kind of an odd thing, that number, 6 million, huh? Interesting. Anyways, thank you, Nancy, for the great super chat donation. And we're going to move right along. Waiting on Chin Music, it is your guys' shot. Your chance to get on in. What do you want to talk about? A lot of things have happened this weekend. An awful lot of things happened this weekend and are still happening. What is the number one thing going on? What does everyone want to talk about? I want to know what you guys are concerned about. Let's do it. Jolene. Oh, Jolene is here, the prepared mother, as well as Ooman. Coming live from two great socialist states within the United Socialist States of America, both Illinois and California. I'm coming at you from deep, deep, deep. I am so far south in the United States of America that I don't even think it's south anymore, in the great state of Florida. The Sunshine State would explain why I've got raccoon eyes, because you wear sunglasses out in the sun. Okay, Jolene, Ooman, who's up with a super chat? We got Redneck Roughneck. And he says, you hear Biden has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. And they are saying the treatment is to lower his testosterone and remove his prostate. That's the treatment, huh? Well, they've been lying about Biden and lying about his health for quite some time, Mr. Roughneck. Lying about his mental capacity or cognitive skills and ability. They've lied about everything. Now it seems like we've got a lot going on with President Trump calling out Joe Biden and his mental acuity, his frame of mind, his competency level, based on Robert Hur. I believe he's an inspector general who investigated to find out whether Biden was competent. And of course, he came back. He's not competent. So we can't prosecute him. But he's competent enough to do pardons. So Trump is now saying all pardons are off the board. We have yet to see any action from that, though. You know, Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel. No one has said, oh, well, if there's no pardons, then let's go arrest these people because we have the goods on them. But back to Biden. They're trying, I think, to play for sympathy. Sympathy. He has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Oh, no, the world, it's just so terrible. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to tell everyone exactly how I feel. I don't care. I don't care about Biden and his family. I don't give a shit about his prostate, his testosterone, his testicles, or his little winky. You want to know why? Because Biden's policies, which were also carried by Alejandro Mayorkas and the entire United States federal government, they went walking right down the road to allowing 20 million illegals to come in. And how many Americans have suffered assault, robbery, carjacking, home invasion? How many children suffered assault and rape and women being raped and people being murdered? Some were raped, tortured, and murdered because Joe Biden, sack of shit extraordinaire, opened everything up. Alejandro Mayorkas, they opened it, and we should care about them. And then they came up with legislation to try and fix the problem. Democrats voted no. Democrat judges are impeding Trump's efforts to get these murderous, raping sacks of shit out of our country. Why should I feel an ounce, a scintilla of anything for Biden's swollen prostate when he lets Americans be murdered, robbed, raped, and worse? If you can do worse than being raped and murdered. Our country has been desecrated by this piece of shit, and we're supposed to care about his prostate. They can remove his entire prostate. They can cut his balls off. Hell, let's turn him into a woman. Cut off his winky, give him a little pretend vag. That'll keep him busy for a while. You know, I don't care about him. Why should I care about Joe Biden? Why should I care about his family? Hunter, any of them. All they did was enable Joe and use him. Same with Barack or Hillary. Same with Nancy and Upchuck. Why should we care about any of these fucking people? Because they have led the entire Democrat Party into an anti-American and, dare I say, treasonous position which they can't defend. Well, they're defending it, but not with anything legitimate. Not with anything, bearing any resemblance to intelligent thought. They want to destroy this country. And when you destroy this country, you take the people with it. So zero sympathy from me. And in fact, I might go so far as to say, you know what? Fuck you, Joe. You deserve a lot worse than that for all the hair sniffing. Oh, yeah, Tara Reid. I'm sure she's not going to lose any sleep after he sexually assaulted her. She's now hiding in Russia, of all places, because she feared for her life. Oh, but feel sorry for Biden. Feel sorry for Biden. Wow, wow, and wow. I tell you. Thank you, Redneck Roughneck. He is a great contributor Monday through Friday, along with everyone else. Let's have some more fun, though. Jolene, who's up next? We've got Dan the Man Erickson. Pow! He's here every week supporting the channel. Thank you, Dan. $5 super chat. And he said this: heard a rumor. Trump may pardon Derek Chauvin, the cop that went to prison for George Floyd. Dan, that's St. George Floyd, dying from a fentanyl overdose. Okay, yeah. Quick reminder: Derek Chauvin is the cop that was kneeling on and maintaining control over the body of St. George Floyd. Right? The idea behind maintaining control of someone that's being arrested while they're on the ground is to keep them pinned so they cannot flail about and either injure the officers or injure themselves or injure others, bystanders, that is. Now, my problem with Derek Chauvin is he looks like an asshole. He does. He looks like an asshole, but that is not a crime, folks. Looking like an asshole is not a crime, which is good because a lot of us could be thrown in jail based on someone else's opinion about what an asshole looks like. That said, Derek Chauvin may be pardoned. Now, I don't know if it's going to be Trump. I doubt it would be Governor Tim Walz, Tampon Timmy, Twinkle Toes Timmy, that Timmy, who is governor of Minnesota, right? Because he's in prison in Minnesota. So it must be Trump. Now, last week, the government of Minnesota said, hey, we need to get ready for riots because they expect that if Derek Chauvin is pardoned, there'll be riots, race riots. Now, George Floyd, according to medical examiners' reports, had so much fentanyl in him that it would have killed a fucking horse. George Floyd, one tough son of a bitch. But the, shall I say, ghetto America will not believe that. They want someone white held responsible for killing such a dear saint as St. George Floyd. But here we go. I know the Democrats are going to need a distraction. They're going to need violence. They're going to need an excuse to get violent, to riot. Remember how they did it last time? Do not forget this, folks. During the day, it's college idiots, regular morons, Democrats from the old people's home. They go out during the day and they wave flags and they march and, they mildly annoy and piss people off. But at night, the freaks come out. The freaks come out at night, and they are the ones who assaulted police with lasers, fireworks that explode, bricks and rocks, and frozen water bottles. All of that could be considered assault with a deadly weapon, assault with the intent to maim, mayhem, all felonies, as well as attempted murder. That's what they're going to need, especially, right? Is it going to be St. George Floyd or is it going to be arrests? Arrests of important Democrats. Well, no matter what, they're going to find their excuse and they will riot. They will riot. It is coming. Anyways, Dan, I tell you what, the rumor, if Minnesota's getting ready for it, I think the rumor is true. I think President Trump or the administration advised Minnesota. It's being reviewed. They're looking at the evidence, and rather than waste time with a trial, pardon Derek Chauvin. Now, knowing that that could cause a riot, is the Trump administration causing it? Or are they interested in justice, right, by getting Derek Chauvin out of prison? But knowing, and this is why they said Derek Chauvin had to be found guilty, because to find him innocent would have caused the 2020 Summer of Love to escalate even more into the realm of SHTF. Now, here's the deal. Are you prepared for what's coming? Are you prepared for what's coming? The question is, right, how bad will it get? How bad will it get? That's why you're a prepper. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. That's right. Freedom seeds and a freedom seed spreader. Having the plan in your head. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? Every time something screwy happens in Florida, people try running here and running there and running this way and running that way. And all they do is clog the highways. You're not getting anywhere. So are you going to bunker in? Well, if you're not going to go somewhere in the event of an emergency, but again, where are you going to go? How bad does the emergency have to be before you try and flee? And if you leave your house for, say, a guest house or a relative's house into the next state, out of a bad zone, is your house going to be burned? Could your house be torched? Could your house be ransacked and looted? So who's going to defend your property when you're gone? Can you trust your neighbors? Real neighbors as Democrats, tell the rioters, hey, Fred Smith's house right there is empty. You guys can stay the night there. Fuck him. I hear he's a Trump supporter anyways. There you have it. Thank you, Dan the Man. Jolene, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? It is Sunday Night Live, and you guys make the decisions. And we got Boomer back in the house with a $20 super chat donation on a Sunday Night Live. And Boomer, before we get to Boomer's statements, I read something today on social media. It said, this person goes, I finally understand Boomer hate after trying to get a loan to buy a house. And I thought, why do they hate boomers? Boomers had to do the same thing we did, the same thing these kids do now. You have to have a bunch of money to put on a down payment. You have to have a job and qualify for the loan. You have to work your ass off, and you're not going to have money to get Starbucks coffee and eat fucking lobster and steak and go on vacations and have all kinds of No, you have to sacrifice everything to buy your first house and get a foot in the door. Picking on boomers, fucking idiot. All right, Boomer. He says the left is having a meltdown over 60 white South African farmers granted asylum because they know how to grow food. Meanwhile, refugee-loving Canada are taking in zero from its fellow Commonwealth nation. All right, so let's recap this real quick. In the nation of South Africa, after Nelson Mandela was freed from prison, the communist Mandela started a huge takeover with the government, and they took everything they could. They claim that the white people are colonists. There's 55 million South Africans that are black, and there's only 5 million that are white. So they literally mandated law that white people have to give up ownership of their businesses. They can only own up to 49%. All businesses, period, have to be black owned. The farmers, they hate. They call them the boer, white people, farmers. They hate them. The nation of South Africa has become a racist, genocidal fucking country. These people in South Africa, while they're descendants of the English and descendants of the Dutch, that was 400 years ago that European settlers showed up there, colonized the area, and started trading and farming and making South Africa as a geographical landmass, making it prosperous. Unbelievable. But yeah, the left is having a meltdown because Trump let in somewhere around 5,000 asylum-seeking people from around the world. I think 5,000. Only 60 of them are white South Africans. How come the Democrats aren't complaining about the other 4,940 non-whites? You see, it's all bullshit. It's racism. Democrats are fucking racist. The left are racist. If you're white, they hate you. If you're black and conservative, they hate you even more, because as a black conservative, you have the potential, the skill, the ability to speak, think, and talk to people who otherwise wouldn't listen. And they can't have that. They cannot have an Uncle Tom telling the facts. No, no, no. Or an aunt. I don't even know what the female equivalent of Tom is. In any event, yeah, no Aunt Toms. Yeah. And well, would you look at that? Canada does love its refugees, do they not, Boomer? But no, they will not take in any from the South African nation, right? Now, South Africa was at one point a lot like other Anglo colonies that brought common law with them and a form of government that was representative of the people. But there's a problem if you do not have a republic. You see, a democracy doesn't care about the rights of the individual. It likes the majority, whereas a republic doesn't care what the majority wants. The individual has rights that cannot be voted away. There's a big difference between a republic and a democracy. Big difference. In any event, Boomer, great topic. Great topic. Canada is a traitor to, well, intelligent thought. Same with the United Kingdom. It's just awful what these countries are doing to themselves. And it's not the countries. It's not like some nameless building is doing something. It's the people in government who are inviting in low-life scum and inviting the destruction of their own people. That's why I keep saying, know who's in Congress, know who the bureaucrats are, and at some point, it's going to be game on, and these fucking people are going to need to pay. Know who is out there, folks. Know where they live, their families, so you can help hold them accountable when the time comes. Jolene, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? Bo, we're at 260 people live right now. And that's really good. I want to see that number up over 400 if we can get there. I know the show is just now started. We're on X. We're on the preparedmind.club. We're on YouTube. We're on subscribestar.com. We're on Facebook. And Uman says, hey, I saw an interesting theory by someone on X about the Epstein and Diddy lists. What if, instead of looking for evidence to prosecute, they're hoarding evidence to further blackmail? You know, control people. Well, that theory makes 100% sense. Now, since P. Diddy was arrested, and I believe it was the Federal Bureau of Investigation, went in and was collecting and scooping up evidence. Yeah, the deep state, and of course the deep state claims to be in business still. The deep state certainly seems to appear evident that they're in charge still, because Kash Patel is doing jack shit. Dan Bongino is doing jack shit. The Attorney General's office is doing jack shit. The Department of Justice is doing jack shit. So if the deep state thinks they can defeat President Trump, keep anybody from doing anything, now they own all of Hollywood. Oh, you bet. Everybody in the music industry, Hollywood, mainstream media, as well as more politicians, because a bunch of politicians were part of the P. Diddy freak show. I mean, how many of you have seen the pictures of LeBron James dressed as a French maid? What a faggot. What a fucking faggot. All of these people playing these fucking fucked up games. Yeah. Now, I'm going to take what you just said, Mr. Uban, and I'm going to move forward. If you, my friends, have something to say, get your comments below. Super chat button right there gets you on the screen. But get this. Today, this weekend, Kash Patel, director of the FBI, and Dan Bongino, deputy director of the FBI, they have revealed a hoard, a cache, a tranche of Russiagate documentation that was hidden. But it's going to be released soon, they say. Oh, it's going to be released soon. The both of them appeared on TV, all kind of giddy and happy about this. And they say, quote, give us a week or two. because they're going to reveal all these documents. They uncovered it. They uncovered a stash of documents. When did they do that? During a fucking Easter egg hunt? When? When did they uncover them? Last week? Last month? 2 months ago? When? They make it sound like they just did this morning. I got up, I was eating some Wheaties, and I found a fucking stash of Russiagate documents. And it doesn't matter what they found. What does it matter if you, the FBI, won't arrest Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and anyone involved in the Russiagate, right, Steele dossier, the 51 intelligence officers? How about Adam Schiff? And you know Chuck Schumer had a part in it, and Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi. They all had a part to play, right? All these crimes are already publicly known. We know who the players were in Russiagate. Why do we need more evidence before anything is done? Why do we need to wait a week or two to unveil it if we already know the names, the players, the techniques? We know all of this shit. Once again, we're being fucking played by these people. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. We're being played. I have zero faith. You know why? Because not one fucking arrest has occurred. Folks, the shit it's the fan situation you're going to go through is going to be exacerbated, magnified, because the Democrats in Washington, D.C., the Republicans in Washington, D.C., the deep state in Washington, D.C., want this to continue, and they want shit to hit the fan. They want Mad fucking Max. They want riots. They want burning, looting, and murdering. They want it, and they're going to get it. They could just go and arrest Hillary and James Comey. They could just go do that right now. Go get them. Go get Obama. Go get them. But they're not going to. I mean, well, uncovered treasure trove of documents. Isn't that what happened with Pam Bondi, the Attorney General? All the documents are here and we're going through them. No, wait, we can't find any documents. Oh, now people are mad. Shit, we found them in New York at the New York FBI field office. And then, they won't give them to us. Oh, wait. We found a truckload of them, and now they're all on my desk. This is all Pam Bondi's bullshit. Then it was, well, we're going to redact the names of the innocent victims. We don't want them smeared. They're all fucking grown up now. Oh, well, we need to protect national security. What? National security? If someone from the CIA, the FBI, Mossad, MI6, some government official was part of that, that's not national security. That is protecting America's national security interests by exposing who they are, revealing the names, and then arresting them. Folks, this is why you need to be prepared. Why this is so important. Because the time is going to come. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are doing their very best. They ran right to the news media. We found a bunch of documents. We already have the fucking documents. It's disheartening. But don't lose heart, folks. Don't lose faith. Understand we have to go through all of this shit. We have to. It has to happen. Right? This country has a cancer. And it cannot be solved by taking an aspirin. You can't take a nap and wake up and everything will be fixed. And the more evil that's revealed shows us exactly how widespread and bad a problem this is. We really have to do what? We're really going to have to get rid of the cancer, kill the disease, right? And when a body is cancer-ridden, It just doesn't go away. It has to be removed. And that means parts of the country are going to be affected in ways they've never been affected before. All right. Still waiting on Chin Music and his super chat question. I don't know what he's doing. Is he formulating it? He may be making a run to get back here to the Prepared Mind channel, because he spends his weekends a lot like I do, very active in training. But I have to be here because it's my show anyways. Okay. I've got a good one for you guys. A very important topic. This is a big part of SHTF as well. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says, "Who cares?" He completely shrugged off, discounted, dismissed that Moody's, which is like the S&P, it's like a TransUnion or Equifax for nations. Moody's downgraded the credit score of the United States government from AAA, the best you can be, to AA. Whoops. They got their credit score downgraded. But Scott Bessent, the Secretary of the Treasury, says, who cares? Okay, then if downgrading a step is no big deal, let's downgrade another 2 steps to an A or a B plus rating for the United States government, and then say, who cares? Folks, the economy was fucked up 4 years ago. It was fucked up 6 years ago, 8 years ago, 10. This is the same thing that happened in 2008, except last time I think it was S&P said they're downgrading the U.S. credit. And interestingly, an executive from that company ended up dying, having a little accident after the downgrade. Right? Scott Bessent can say who cares all he wants. Do not think that this downgrade is not going to affect the world. It'll affect the world today, tomorrow. It's going to affect Wall Street. It's going to affect the price of precious metals. It's going to affect interest rates. The United States government is already having its bonds purchased by the Federal Reserve. They're monetizing the debt. They're fucking everything up, folks. In fact, over the weekend, Bank of America is appearing to be teetering. They're going to have to do something with interest rates. We've got $7 trillion. $7 trillion coming up for refinancing. You know how you buy a house, you do a 30-year loan, but you have to do a balloon payment after 5 years or 7 years or 10 years. So you have to refinance the whole whatever's left, right? You got this much loan and you pay it down a little, but you've got a balloon payment or a refinancing after so many years. Trump has to refinance now, $7 trillion. Well, if the interest rates are high because they've been going up, because no one wants the bonds, they keep raising the interest rate how much to entice people to buy them because they'll make more money. No one wants them. Trump wants to lower interest rates so he can refinance the $7 trillion. So he can encourage more spending, more investment. And he's running around. Apparently, he found $10 trillion overseas from investing countries like the UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. That's not going to help us today. We're in big trouble, folks. Downgrading the United States government to AA. You know what? It is now substandard to another item. You know what investment material is there in the markets worldwide that is AAA and has never been less than AAA? That would not be Bitcoin. Gotcha, Uman. Yep, Bitcoin is not AAA credit. No, that would be gold. With the United States losing face, with it having to reinvest or refinance its debt, with a budget not being passed, we're looking like the government could move closer to a literal default. If they lose control of the bond market, and when I say lose control, I mean lose their control over it, because they've been micromanaging the bond market between the Federal Reserve, the United States Treasury, and the World Bank, I'm sure. They have been trying to manage it to keep the dollar stable and to keep the system afloat. If they lose control of this all the way, we could see some serious SHTF in the finance world, the banking world, Wall Street, government. Being prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense is one hell of a plan, don't you think? I think so. Well, Oliver's let me know that Alan Meyer Jensen has a good two-part question that we need to discuss. Let's see if we can get that up on the board and go with that. I'm very, very curious. We're almost right at 300 people live, by the way, 300. And folks, this is what I really need from you. We got a lot of people doing super chat donations. That keeps the channel going. The other thing that keeps the channel going is hitting the thumbs up, sharing the internet address, sharing it through Facebook, sharing it through YouTube, hitting the share button there, sharing it on X. Like, heart, share. It is the only way we're going to stay on the air here. They could cut us and cut us and cut us and then go, you know what? We're just going to cut your channel out altogether because no one cares. They would love that. They're trying to do that. They're doing it to more than just prepper channels, more than just patriot channels, more than just conservative channels. They are wanting to cut everyone out of social media. And let me tell you why. Because they don't like you having the facts. They don't like you being able to come on here and share in your comments what's in your mind. They don't like us talking about what's on your mind. They want you dumb and deaf. So you have to turn over to the TV and, well, turn CNN back on, turn Fox back on, turn MSNBC back on, and listen to their talking heads tell their version of reality so you behave again. That's what they want. All right, Mr. Uman, let's go back and try that again. I got caught up in that one. So Alan Meyer Jensen says, now they find out all the sun panels for climate change have backdoors and a kill switch. I just drink my coffee. That's humor for the brain from Europe. Alan Meyer Jensen is in Europe. So after they lost power, after they tried to restart the windmills with what? Generators on diesel for the windmills? Yes, I be silent. So, Alan, I appreciate your taking a stab at the English language. You did well there. So, yeah, they have a back door. Let's go back to question one, if we may, Mr. Uman. They have back doors or kill switches. If you remember, was it last week, the beginning of last week, or just a few days ago, Portugal, France, Spain, Western Europe, many areas of it lost power because they rely so heavily on the climate-saving green energy that they came up short on power. So the systems were overloaded, and bing, 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 starts tripping circuit breakers. When the circuit breakers trip, yeah, everyone loses power, not just one or two little small areas. Yep, they have a backdoor or a kill switch. In other words, they have the ability, somebody does, whether it's the manufacturer or maybe the government or maybe, that's right, the World Economic Forum, they can just kill switch, black out everybody, and do what? They just got their black swan, their false flag, their excuse. Now, what happens when lights go out, communications go down, the world's a dark, scary place? Criminals come out. They do what? They do whatever the fuck they want. They start with petty crimes, breaking and entering. Then they move on to looting. If it's out long enough, they begin to violently attack people, murder and rape them. Oh, it's coming, folks. They set that up. I think that what Alan Meyer Jensen is talking about, I think that was a beta test in Europe to see if, they really could pull a kill switch and black everyone out and fuck them over real good. I get a little parched here. So, Alan, I think that we all got a good taste of what could happen. Really, what could happen. We got a lot, folks. We could get a power outage, and not just in Europe, but also in the United States of America. They could kill the power here, lickety-split, and blame anything they want. It was a hacker, a system failure. It was a Chinese part that blew. Right? They can make up any excuse, any story, and how would we know? How could we prove anything? Even if you and I, all 10,000 of us, had all the facts, what they really just happened, and we could tell everyone, who the fuck would pay attention to us? Right? The things that you know in your head are for you to benefit from. Share with friends, share with family, share with coworkers, share with the public in general through all social media. But understand, it is your information, and only you are the only person that you can make do anything. Everybody else, it's up to them, right? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them prep. All right. Thank you, Alan Meyer Jensen. Appreciate that. Great topic, because it's about being prepared. Being prepared. Whew, right? We talked about food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. We got to be prepared for what? For a fucking false flag, black swan, right? A government or non-government organization, which includes hackers, creating a situation whereby chaos, mayhem, and violence follows. All right, folks, we're almost at the 1 hour mark. We're over 300 people live. We're at 325 and going higher, higher, higher. Share, share, share. Thumbs up and like everything. It is up to you and I, us, and only us, to make this channel grow. X is not going to help. Nope. I use too many bad words. YouTube's not going to help. No, they won't help us and promote us. So we have got to do it ourselves. Share the internet address. Wake people up. Okay, Jolene says we got someone else. Hey, it's Dan the Man Erickson. He's back again with another $5 super chat. And he says, I live in Washington State, and the Democrats just passed the largest tax increase in state history, but they're blaming Trump for the cost of goods. I mean, that's a serious face palm. Dan, get the fuck out of there, man, if you can. I don't know where you would go, where you would want to go, where you could go. You're probably all set up for prepping and survival and dealing with bullshit in Washington. Washington's beautiful. It's got a coastal area. It's got islands, the beautiful archipelago of islands out there. The San Juan Islands, I believe. Washington has Cascade Mountains, Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens, big, beautiful mountains. On the backside of that, they have high desert, right? Back into the Idaho area. It's a beautiful place. You know, you pick your environment and you can live in it. But what do they have in Washington? A bunch of fucking communist Democrats in the city of Seattle, Tacoma. And as a consequence, the rest of the state is very, shall we say, rural. And so you are overrun by the mental midgets of the metropolis. And so, yeah, they're screwed. The largest tax increase. You know what that's going to do? It's going to cause the cost of goods to go up everywhere. Of course, they're going to blame Trump. Of course they will. This weekend, Dan, my governor down here in the state of Florida, Governor DeSantis, said he has a foolproof way to run the state of Florida. He says what you do is you watch what California does, Illinois does, and New York does, and you do the exact opposite, because everything they're doing to their states is destroying it. I think he could have included Washington in it. Same with Oregon. Same with Colorado. Same with New Mexico. There are a lot of states that are going so far to the left, it is incomprehensible. All right. Oh, interesting. YouTube took, I think, 20 freaking people off of our viewer list. Isn't that amazing? Thumbs up. Share the internet address. Get it out there. X, hit the share. Hit the repost button. We're going to tinker with their heads. You guys have been great on the Super Chats donations, keeping the lights on, the spam, and the scotch, and the and the tuna fish too, right? Folks, we got some stuff going on, but it could all be fixed, in my opinion, very quickly if they would start making arrests. Literally, start making arrests. Dan Bongino was talking about the January 6th pipe bomber, right? Pipe bomber. It's a guy, he was running around and he planted pipe bombs and they couldn't figure out who he is. They could find every single American patriot from January 6th, 2021, whether they were man or woman, young or old, whether they were plainly visible or masks. They found them all and arrested them. But they couldn't figure out who this pipe bomber was. Well, Dan Bongino says, just wait, you'll see. Because they say the truth about the pipe bomber is coming soon. This is why we're not getting anywhere. Don't fucking talk. They're doing it again. Just this talk. All this problem. You just wait and see. Be patient. Give us a week or two. We've given you over 3 fucking months. Right? This is another nothing burger. Well, you want to give us some truth about the pipe bomber? What about the hundreds of Epstein clients who raped children? And the FBI, meaning you, Dan, and you, Kash Patel, and the Attorney General's office and the Department of Justice, they're all letting these Epstein clients go free. And we're supposed to worry about the fucking pipe bomber whose bombs actually didn't explode. No one was killed. No one was hurt. People just got scared. We're supposed to really care. You just wait. You'll see. Dan, go arrest the Epstein people. It's that fucking simple. If Kash Patel is telling you no, do it anyways. Do it anyways. Go arrest somebody. Do it anyways. Unbelievable. If you've got something to say, if you've got an opinion, if you have a prediction, a thought, super chat button right up there gets you on the screen here, and we'll make you famous. Man, oh man, have we got a lot of topics out there that are happening right now. We're at the 1 hour mark, folks. We go 2 hours on Sunday Night Live, or we keep going until all the super chats are discussed in full. It is your show. We rely on you on Sunday nights to pick the topics and pay the bills, and you guys do an awesome job still. Chin Music has a super chat out there, but we don't have a question from you there, big man. So let's get it from you. Get it on into Ooh Man. Somehow, some way. Maybe Ooh Man, maybe you can text him. I don't know. I'm busy doing the show. It can't be me. Yeah, they could solve the crimes, solve the problems very, very quickly, folks. But they won't. Instead, we get press conferences. Pam Bondi, Attorney General, she's back out in front of cameras again, promising arrests are coming. Oh, you just wait. You'll see. We're going to show you. Oh, and the Q-tards are back too. That's right. The QAnon Q-tards are back. They're telling everybody, oh yeah, Trump was wearing a Q on his collar. And it all happened on, well, yesterday, Saturday, May 17th, because the number 17 is Q. So anything that happens on 17 has to be Q. Well, they're playing the games. My thing is, don't count on them to do anything. Don't count on Pam. Don't count on Dan. Don't count on Cash. Don't count on any of them. You have to step up, you and me. We have to write, text, call, email, comment on social media directly to the government, the people who have the power. That is what is pushing them to go on the news and say, trust us, it's coming. Just wait. Be patient. 1 more week, 2 more weeks. If we stop, then they stop. If we push them, then they get embarrassed and they know it's their fault and they have to accept responsibility, and it makes them do things. We have to force them to do their fucking jobs. The same way we have to force our children to clean up their room or clean up their plate. Just wait, you'll see, says Bongino. Really? Uman says, some Q-tard was saying the Mexican ship was docked on Pier 17. Oh, yeah. Yep, I saw that. Searching for something to tie it to. Yeah, it was 17. It was the 17th minute on the 17th day of the 17th month on the 17th hour. Everything, yeah. Don't buy it, folks. Don't let them convince you that it's handled. Don't let them do it, because they're liars. They really are. Now, back to you and me making things happen. The Department of Justice, which is the Attorney General's office, this is one of the things Pam came out this week and said she's going to do. And the Department of Justice also includes the FBI. But the Attorney General and Department of Justice says that they plan to make it easier to prosecute congressional members that are corrupt or criminal. Well, if they're criminal, then arrest them. Why do they need to do some kind of thing to make it easier? They've committed the crime. You have the evidence, Pam. Go arrest them. So let's continue with what they're saying. They're bullshit. They've got a plan to make it easier to arrest corrupt members of Congress. Under this plan, the Department of Justice can indict members of Congress without approval from lawyers from its own, I guess you could call this a internal investigation department called the Public Integrity Section. I have never heard of the Public Integrity Section. I didn't know there's an organization within the Department of Justice called the Public Integrity Section, which tells the Attorney General or the FBI, nope, you don't need to arrest that person. Where's the fucking integrity there? Right? We, the public, are being raped and screwed over. The integrity would be returned if they arrest these fucking people. But anyways, the Public Integrity Department of Government is responsible, I guess, since they stopped the FBI and the Department of Justice and the Attorney General. They stopped them from executing their jobs. So they excuse crimes by politicians and bureaucrats. I say the Public Integrity Section or department needs to be arrested as well. This is unbelievable. Once again, there's another layer of bureaucracy that works in there to protect criminals within government. Same question is being asked this week as was asked last week, the week before. Over a fucking month ago, we are asking the question. All of this corruption, theft, bribes, money laundering, fraud by USAID and other federal agencies. Where are the fucking arrests? The public integrity section is about, well, arresting members of Congress. No. AOC needs to be arrested. Jasmine Crockett needs to be arrested. Everyone remember Martha Stewart? That icy cold bitch that, I mean, personally, I didn't like her. I didn't like her back then. I don't like her now. She's just an unattractive human being to me. But should she have been arrested for insider trading? Hell yeah! She's using her position and her power. She got arrested for insider trading and went to jail. Prison for years. Nancy Pelosi, no arrests. All of Congress, no arrests. In fact, the Republican in charge of Congress, maggot Mike Johnson, comes out just a couple days ago and says, Congress, they need to be able to support their families. They're making over six figures. They have the world's most bulletproof, literally bulletproof benefits programs. Health, vision, dental, retirement, vacation. They have, it's not like they spend their money to do their job. No. They have expense accounts. They have staff. They have credit cards. No problem, right? Public integrity? You want to talk about public integrity? What? I've never heard of this place, this Department of Public Integrity. Holy fuck, there's another one that is covering up, hiding crimes, allowing them to get it, excusing political corruption, excusing bureaucratic theft. This is America, folks. Now, the best part of all of this to date is that it's being exposed and you and I can all see it. You can save it on your computer. You can join social media networks that are keeping track of every last fucking thing being said. How many millions went to drag queen schools in Colombia? How many millions of dollars went to Thailand to teach them how to do underwater fucking basket weaving, right? All of this money that's been wasted pushing this left-wing bullshit. It's just to send money to these other countries and then have those countries or organizations send money back and in the form of a political contribution to their campaigns. Because you all know, right? You all know that when a political candidate leaves politics, any money that's in their campaign coffers is theirs. So if they build a war chest of $200 million, they can be like, you know what? I'm not going to be in politics anymore. Or they could spend a couple $100,000 on some flyers and leaflets and just throw the fucking race, lose. And they've sold you and me and our country down the fucking river. They're going to change the rules. They've got a plan to make it easier to prosecute Congress. They're fucking criminals. You arrest them. Did you or I, did any of us know that Congress is immune from prosecution for violating the law? No clue. I had no clue that they were that. It's disgusting. It really is. It really is. I'm telling you. It's awful. This is your show, folks. It is Sunday Night Live. It's Sunday Night Live. Hit that super chat button right up there. It's your show. We get to have some fun. What do you want to talk about? Jolene, who's up next? We've got Boomer, and he's back again with another $20 super chat donation. Excellent, Boomer. Thank you for the great support. Keeps me in this chair instead of bagging groceries down at the Piggly Wiggly or weighing nails on a scale at the Home Depot. In any event, Boomer, he says, if they don't take any action against James Comey, Mr. 8647, then what? Time to vomit, perhaps? So James Comey, former director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, says he found some seashells. And there was a formation of seashells that interestingly said 8647. 86 were different colored than the 47. 86 means to remove, eliminate. And if it comes from a political person, means, well, remove, eliminate. 47 is Trump. Well, James Comey removed that and wrote an excuse for himself, because he can do that. When you're James Comey, you can excuse your behavior. And he said, I didn't know that was something bad. I just thought it was interesting. Really? So the leader of the world's most powerful law enforcement agency, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, doesn't know what 86ing the 47th president would mean. Now it has gone, shall we say, viral. James Comey and his dog whistle. Yeah, what's a dog whistle? A dog whistle is a whistle that when you blow it, it's silent. We can't hear it, but dogs can hear it. A dog whistle is a whistle that has a pitch that only dogs can hear. So when a Democrat blows a Democrat dog whistle, only Democrats can hear it, supposedly. It riles them up. It pisses them off, and they obey the dog whistle. So James Comey blows this kill Trump whistle. And now people on social media, famous and not famous, powerful and not powerful, idiotic one and all, as well as regular street protesting Democrat morons, they're literally carrying signs, posting pictures that say 8647. In other words, they're all calling for violence. Now, here's the deal, my prepper brothers and sisters. Here's the deal, fellow prepared mind patriots and veterans. Here is the deal. Many of these yahoos, these socialist, communist, Democrat fuckwads, have also named you and me. The command that is coming down and is now being relayed is they need to hurt or kill Trump administration, and Trump supporters and followers. Even if you're not a Trumper, as long as you're a conservative, as long as you're a Republican, as long as you're a pro-American, pro-Constitution American, hell, if you're a pro-Constitution American supporter from another country, you are now targeted. Essentially, Comey flipped the switch. Okay, time for violence. That's exactly what he did. Oh, the Secret Service came by and picked him up at his place and took him in for some questioning, but he was not arrested. It's a fucking show. Get your popcorn, folks, and keep your pistols and rifles and shotguns handy. But get your popcorn. We got a hell of a show coming. One hell of a show. Now, Trump, for his part, thank you, Boomer, for another $20 super chat. You are the man. Now, Trump isn't taking all of this lying down. The heat is on, folks. What I need to see are some arrests. Don't you? Don't you need to see some arrests? Trump has brought up the Hillary and Bill Clinton kill list. The people that have been killed or, arkancided, committed suicide, supposedly. He's brought it up, right? A video compilation of all the mysterious deaths, the suicides, the accidents that have happened around Hillary and Bill. He's saying something. Is it bullshit? Or is it just to rile up you and me and to rile up the leftists so that we fight each other? We're going to find out. I'm suspicious of everybody. But good golly, Hillary Clinton, she hasn't gone away, has she? Oh, no, she hasn't. Jolene, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? We have bump, Big Dan the man. He's just hit the Prepared Mind hat trick, his third time in. $10 super chat. He said, sold my Tesla stock Friday, made 10.3K in just 3 weeks. Now I take the 10.3K from 3 weeks and buy more Tesla stock when it dips way down again. And that's how to make money. I tell you what, Dan just gave us a lesson on short-term stock trading. Hopefully you can get back in, Dan, before the month comes up, so it's a wash trade. Essentially, though, if Dan holds on to that money, he's going to pay the top marginal tax rate, which is, I think, 28%, unless it's in a retirement fund that allows you to trade in and out with no penalties because the money stays within the retirement account. Hopefully that's the case. I know others that have a similar thing. The stock market's a scary place. You can put money in there and it can grow in value. You can put money into the stock market and it can go down, right? So what he's talking about is most stocks go up and down, up and down. So you sell at the high, buy at the low, right? That's the trading side. Other people like to just buy and hold for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever. It's their retirement. The way things are looking, and I know Dan is how do I put this? An investor, a saver in precious metals as well. I don't know what the hell is going on, folks. I just know none of it is good. None of it. Not a bit. None of it is good. Scary world. I know Dan has bought some gold because he said so, right? A lot of people are buying gold and silver to take their money out of the system where it's out of your control and they're putting it in their own control. So my recommendation is if you're going to move a portion of 5%, 10%, 20% of your retirement or investment portfolio, put it in something that's a little more sound. If you buy the gold and silver and hold it, right, stock market can go up and down all at once, but you don't lose an ounce. And we recommend using sdbullion.com. They are on the website at thepreparedmind.club. It's been the best company that I've worked with over the years. There it is. There is the link from Jolene, the prepared Jolene mother. Anyways, recommend going there to get your precious metals. If you have the stomach and the skill level, you can follow Dan. But you have to have a strong stomach, a strong will. These are scary times we're in. I'm really glad you did well with that, Dan. Yeah, there was that claim that Tesla was going to go down, right? There was a big revolt against Elon Musk. And so they tanked the price. In fact, Minnesota, Tampon Timmy there, Twinkle Toes, the governor was bragging about how he was hurting Tesla. And they didn't realize, old wooden brains, that the state of Minnesota and all states, all government organizations have their money spread throughout the investment community. And that includes an awful lot of Tesla stock. So they were hurting themselves, driving the value of their own stocks down. So again, Dan wisely jumped in, wrote it back up, and decided, hey, time to sell. Scary times. Let's see if it comes down. Well, we could have a lot of things come down. But I'm waiting to find out what happens in China. You're like, China? What the fuck are you talking about now, John? China right now. They're gonna open. I don't know if it's now or in the next hour. They'll open up their markets for precious metals. And because of the downgrading of the United States government, which is the equivalent of downgrading the US dollar, should cause precious metals to go up. So you can invest in, of course, paper metal or actual real metal in gold and silver. Banks are buying real gold right now. Central banks, mega banks, very wealthy people are buying gold by the ton. And countries like China are telling their people to buy it. Countries like China are actually, they told investment and insurance companies, you're now allowed to buy gold. So they're sanctioning the purchase of physical metal, real gold bars. And right now, in the month of May, already we're halfway in the month. Friday was the 16th. By Friday, the 16th of May, the United States of America had imported 700% more gold than they did last year. And that was only halfway through the month. So you might ask yourself, what the fuck is going on? The answer is something big, something important. July 1st, the Basel III rule on gold becoming a tier 1 asset goes into effect and affects all countries around the world. That is a significant thing that we've known about for many, many years. It was planned well ahead of time, gave all these nations a chance to get their shit together. Well, it appears that there's a lot going on. Warren Buffett has stepped up. Silver's up almost 1%, and gold is up almost 2% in the Eastern markets, meaning Hong Kong, Shanghai. Folks, in other words, we have a monetary, financial, and fiscal, right? Just everything. Government, private sector, banking, national banks, private banks, very rich people. There's a lot of fear of SHTF, something bad happening in the markets, right? Silver's up 1%, gold up almost 2%. Quite interesting. Those numbers will flip here at some point to where gold is up 1% and silver is up 2% or 3%. This is interesting, folks. Watching it to protect yourself. If you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, if you've got all that covered in your plan and you got money left over, you can invest the way Dan has talked about, or you could buy physical gold and silver, not the paper, right? You literally call the company or hit the link that Jolene had up there a minute ago and protect yourself. Now, you may only protect your purchasing power and not have your money confiscated in a bank closure failure or a bail-in or be subjected to massive money printing, right? If that happens, our inflation goes crazy again. So Trump is trying to lower interest rates, right, to keep the economy going so that they don't have to print as much, to keep inflation down, right? They're playing games, but games can hurt you. You can play football and you can get hurt. It's just a game. You can get your leg broke, your neck snapped. Hell, if you're a girl playing sports, you could end up going up against a tranny male who will fuck you up, right? So you can get hurt playing games, no doubt. But yeah, they're playing some games, folks. But banks and wealthy family offices and nations are protecting themselves with real physical gold and silver. And it's happening right now. Last year, January, gold was below, January 24, gold was below $2,000. It's up, right? It's up about $1,500 right now. It was up at $3,500 an ounce, and it's going to be heading back that way. We've got some scary times ahead, right? Scary times ahead. Finance, government, radical left groups, and I mean radical, anti-American, anti-freedom, anti-life. In fact, when I talk about anti-life, the FBI has confirmed that in, I think it's Palm Springs, California, a fertility clinic there was bombed. And it wasn't an accident. It wasn't an explosion. It was a bomb. An intentional, this is what the FBI says. It was an intentional act of terrorism. Now, who did this? It was a Democrat, a 25-year-old Democrat. Guess what? He's a Democrat who hates babies. What does a fertility clinic do? It helps people have babies. This guy hates the fact that people are reproducing. He hates America. He hates white people. And oh, he's an atheist too. He hates God. Loves Satan. Once again, this sounds like the perfect left-wing lunatic. Now, what I noticed, because I went and looked at the footage, the film, the pictures, this guy had one hell of a bomb. 25-year-old kid. It didn't say he was a veteran of the Army. Didn't say he was special forces who specialized in explosive or improvised explosive devices, IEDs. Nope. Just some radical left-wing nut. Some left-wing fuck nut manages to make a hell of a bomb, blows himself up. You know what that tells me, folks? Let me throw a conspiracy theory out. One we'll never get the answer to. They get this young idiot. He's all over social media posting stupid shit. Fact, fact, and fact. FBI contacts him, says, hey, we think we could use a guy like you, your help. Yeah, I said FBI. I said FBI calls this guy. Says, hey, we can use you as an agent provocateur. We're going to hand you a package. So what you need to do, Mr. Idiot Democrat, is you're going to take this cute little box and you're going to carry it over to that fertility clinic. So the idiot takes the box over to the fertility clinic and somebody pushes the button, blows up the bomb, blows up the idiot kid. All his messages are all over the internet. I hate God. I hate America. I hate babies. I hate white people. I hate the flag. I hate Europe, right? Whatever his hatred is, right? So that's what the world sees. This fucking clown gets blown up. If he's smart enough to make a bomb that explosive, wouldn't he be smart enough, you think, to plant it and get the fuck out of there before it goes off? Just a question. I don't remember reading anything about him being suicidal. All right, Jolene, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? We're at 350 people live as we go. And we're an hour and a half in. And we got the Michigan Caveman checking in with a $5 super chat. And he says, excuse me, John, but it was Martha Stewart who served 5 months in prison. Did I say years? Did I say that she spent years in prison? If so, and I stand corrected. Thank you very much. 5 months in prison, beginning in October 2004 and ending in March 2005. Yeah, it was Martha Stewart, insider trading. She was drugged through the mud by the mainstream media for insider trading. What is insider trading? Well, insider trading is knowing, let's say, a company had a down profit quarter or year. They know it was down. They see the information. Well, the stock is way up here, but they know it's going to come down. So they go and put it in order to sell their stock ahead of time so that when the news, the company reports, you see publicly traded companies have to report to shareholders, the general market, what's going on. So she went in and sold a bunch of stock. The other thing people can do is they can buy a bunch of stock knowing good news is coming. The good news comes and shows them, whoop, it's great news. The value goes up and then they can sell that and make a bunch of money. Insider trading. That's how someone like Nancy Pelosi, who makes, $174,000 a year as a congresswoman, that's how they get $200 million, $250 million. Some members of Congress are fucking billionaires, I believe. Crazy stuff. Michigan Caveman, thank you for setting me straight on that. I really appreciate it. It's been a few years, 2005. That would be 20 years. Almost to the month. 20 years since she got out of jail. So yeah, I got my wires crossed a little bit. She definitely did insider trading. Definitely was lampooned, attacked, and just castigated, right? Villainized by the media. And what's the media doing about all the insider trading from Congress? Congress, who goes to a company and says, we want you to provide us, right? Here's an RFP, request for proposal. Give us a quote, a bid to do some government contracting. And they're like, yeah, we like your bid. But before we give you this contract, we're going to go buy your stock. And then we give you the bid. The company announces to the world, we got a $10 billion contract. The stock shoots up. And those Congress people make a ton of money. Then they sell it. If you and I did that, guess what? You, Michigan caveman, if you did that, you'd be going to jail. You bet. But Congress, they have to take care of their families. I mean, I know that drug dealers, cartel members, they have families too. They're just selling drugs to take care of their families. They're just committing this crime or that crime to take care of their families. Joe Biden, he's just taking care of his brother Jimmy and his son Hunter, the smartest guy he's ever met. He's got to take care of Jill, Dr. Jill, and the daughter that he likes to take showers with. You know, he's just taking care of his family. That's all. Nothing to worry about. I tell you. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Michigan Caveman, thank you. And let us, by the way, chin music. we need your super chat, amigo. All right, let's do another super chat. Let's do another question from the audience. What do you guys want to talk about? It's your show. It's Sunday night. Super chat buttons up there. Right? We got you covered. I want to hear your thoughts. And Give It All to God checks in with a $10 super chat donation. And this is what Give It All to God says. Since we are in World War III, now I'm going to stop right there. Like, cut. We're in World War III. It is an information war. World War III is a psychological war for control of our thoughts and our beliefs, everything. It is a monetary war between the dollar, the Chinese yuan, the Russian ruble, the euro, the yen, etc. We're in an everything war right now, just short of nuclear war. Right? There's a media war. There's a social media war. There's a trade war being battled and waged. So, World War III, everything. Give It All to God says, how likely is it that Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, Turkey, etc., would take advantage of our current turmoil going on and invade the United States? Would we be able to win? Well, I have your answer. You see, our enemies have already told us what they're going to do. The United States of America, if the politicians in charge of our nuclear arsenal are pro-American, they would tell whoever is planning to invade, because we would see them planning to invade. It wouldn't be an accident. It would be highly visible. We would say, excuse me, China, we have enough nuclear weapons to turn China into a glass bowl. We recommend you put your troops back on the land in China. Get them off the boats, get them on the land, knock your shit off. Right? Same with Russia, North Korea, Turkey. Who else we got there? Iran. Iran, by the way, is working with the United States of America and several other countries to give up everything in its nuclear development programs. Iran is essentially getting ready to surrender, right? Because the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, all just basically aligned with the United States under President Trump. So I don't see much going on with Iran. But let me move. In North Korea just wants to matter, so they're going to do anything they can. North Korea is nothing. Turkey interestingly, I don't think is a threat to the United States of America. It's a threat to Europe. I think Turkey may have designs to hurt Europe. I think those designs are already being carried out because Turkey helped facilitate the movement of millions of illegal aliens traveling to invade into Europe. But when it comes to America, I believe both Russia and China have taken the position of we don't need to invade to destroy America, to win. All we need to do is step back and let America destroy itself. The same way Europe is destroying itself. The same way Australia is destroying itself. And Canada is destroying itself. They're all destroying themselves. Washington, D.C. is trying to destroy our country. So again, if this was a military war only, give it all to God. If it was a military war only, yeah, they would have to be here to invade us, to hurt us. But it's not just a military war like the military war that's being fought in Ukraine and Russia, and the almost war between Israel and Iran. What we've looked at here is a psychological war, a monetary war, right? A trade war, right? We've got all of those other types of war which can destroy a country. They just have to sit back and let us destroy ourselves, and they're doing it. You and I are fighting it, of course. We're part of this war being fought against domestic enemies in our own country, our own government. We're fighting it. So your question is great. Would they take advantage of our current turmoil? The answer is 100% yes, but not through an invasion. China is fueling the destruction of America. It is my opinion that China is sending money to politicians and bureaucrats in Washington, D.C., and rewarding them financially for allowing the invasion of our country by illegals. They're rewarding them for impeding President Trump's political and monetary and financial objectives, his economic plan. I think China is bribing or even extorting American politicians to interfere with. Look at all the Supreme Court justices. We had 9, 5 of whom were moderate Republicans to strong Republicans. We just had a decision that went 7 scumbags to 2 good guys with respect to the president being able to execute the law that's already on the books. And I'll tell you what, I want to go right to this right now. I am all for suspending habeas corpus with respect to these illegal aliens. They're not Americans. They're not Americans. Well, they're in America, so they're Americans now. No, they're not entitled to Social Security. They're not entitled to drive. They're not entitled to everything they do is everything someone who's not an American that comes here to do, they're exercising a privilege, not a right. The only thing they have a right to is not to be killed. It is unbelievable, folks, what the Democrats are doing, these judges and politicians. I think China is funding it. They're big enough and wealthy enough to fund it. Now, other nations that may not have the money to fund it might use extortion. That is, now we're back to the Epstein files. Organizations that don't like the United States, like Israel, is now openly pissed off at Trump because they're not getting the war they wanted that you and I are supposed to pay for and fight. And so, they would be extorted. Yeah. Would we be able to win? You and I winning is going to take a great deal of faith, some divine providence, and a lot of hard work, and that's just to survive. Winning, yes, I think we can win, but it's not going to be easy, folks. The win that we're talking about is surviving SHTF and coming out of it as a constitutional republic. So, if you're a person of faith, I recommend praying as well as prepping. Let's continue. Thank you to Give It All to God for that great super chat. Folks, what a great show. I want to thank everyone for coming here, supporting the channel, supporting each other. Be sure and share, thumbs up, share the internet address, share it on X, share it on Subscribestar, share it everywhere. Facebook, everywhere. YouTube, share it. That's the only way we're going to win this fucking war and defeat these evil bastards. Woo! It's good to be one of the deplorable, by the way. Cafefe.com is a great company. Tomorrow morning when I get up, 0 dark 30, guess what I will be doing? I'll be getting a cup of Cafefe.com and I'll put it in a cup and I'll do a 0 dark 30 video. It's going to be fun. Anyways, they're a great sponsor of the show, folks. They are patriotic. Unlike Black Rifle Coffee Company, which tried pretending to be patriotic and turned out to be a bunch of communist fucks. I don't drink communist fucking coffee. I drink American patriot coffee, and Cafefe is patriotic coffee. If they support me, you know damn well they're not communist. You know damn well they love this country because there's nothing communist about me, period. All right. Thank you, Coffee for Deplorables, says Jolene. Let's do this. We got another, I think, question from the audience. Let's do it. Holy schnit. It is Dan the Man Erickson with a $50 super chat. And you know, and I know what that means. A Glenn Levitt 15 right there, all the way up to the 308 bullet. That is one heck of a pour. Thank you, Dan. Again, without you guys, I'm not here. So Dan says, promises made and kept by Trump. I like the sound of that, and I want to see more of that and hear more of that. We'll stop right there for this drink, Dan. Semper Fi, brother. That's like mother's milk, I tell you. Good, good, good. Dan says, promises made and kept by Trump. One reason so many Americans voted for him, not including the guys not in it for the money. He already has plenty of that. So he can't be tempted or bought by the deep state, and that's priceless. US, us. Yeah, Trump is an interesting cat. And I also think that Elon Musk has said the same thing. You can't buy me. There's nothing you can offer me that I can't get and give for myself. Trump, as the man he is, but right at the 80-year-old mark, right? He's not young. He's not a kid. He's not. He's done everything. And I understand this at age 55, to the extent I can understand Trump's position. He's done everything. He has been successful in business. He's had, he's had successful marriages and failed marriages, but he got a great successful one again with Melania. He's got incredible children and grandchildren. He has had popular television shows. He has been one of the most popular United States presidents ever, despite the fact that the mainstream media, television entertainment, movie entertainment, everyone hates him now. But he's still out there fighting for you and I. He's not taking a nickel, a penny, nothing from us, right? No pay. He's doing everything for free as a man. He is, in other words, he is doing, and he's living his way, right? Are his politics 100% the same as mine or yours or Dan's? No. He's living his political life. He's fighting his political fight. He's fighting for his country, the United States of America. He's doing everything he can correctly. Now, do I want arrest? Yes. Does he want arrest? I'm certain. Does he understand more than I do or all of us? I'm sure. He's got access to the information. Does he have a plan? I sure hope so. I think he would, right? He's doing it, folks. It's just I want the fucking arrest. I want to see the rats running scared. I want Democrats arrested. I want the chaos on the streets as a consequence of the left wing turning them loose so that everyone on the planet, including America, sees that the Democrats are doing it intentionally, that they intentionally are trying to destroy the country and you and me. Right? I don't want our country destroyed, but we have to have these people fully exposed. Half the country still has no fucking clue what's going on. They still think it's just regular old America. It's just we got a lot of drag queens out for some reason. Right? They're kind of confused. Well, I don't get it, but they put their head back up their ass or in the sand and they're done. I think Trump is really doing it. I just need to see the arrest. I'm ready for the next phase. I've been ready. I think we were all ready. Anyways, he's not in it for the money. So what is Trump in it for? And I just remember that line from Wall Street starring Charlie Sheen and Michael Douglas, right? How many yachts can you ski behind? How many mansions can you sleep in? How much money do you need? Once you get that much money like Trump has, there's really nothing that you can buy that you don't already have. Right? Wild business. Anyways, Dan, thank you for the great support. I agree. Right? We voted for Trump because he can't be bought. You know, we just need to see our country restored, our republic. And that, my friends, will be a priceless day of victory I cannot wait to celebrate with all of you. We may do it while holding on to a rifle or a pistol, but it'll be a celebration when the deep state is exposed and they're being arrested. And hopefully, well, I think Trump put out on social media, I think his Truth Social as well as X, something about military tribunals. I don't know. Did you catch that, Uman, the part where he was discussing military tribunals? Yeah, Uman's shaking his head. Yes. Okay. I need the thoughts. Okay, we got the thoughts going there in Washington. We need the words, right? But we need the action. We need the arrests, right? Thoughts and words are great, but we need action. So please keep inspiring, encouraging, and demanding that action be taken for our country. I really just think it's critical at this point. And that scotch really hit the spot, Dan. It's feeling good now, man. I love it. Okay. Pardon me. I've got something I want to share with you guys. It's unbelievable. We talked weeks ago, and I don't know if Trump was part of this. I'm sure he is now. I don't think he talked about it too loudly. I remember when NATO was saying, you know what, we're going to kick the United States out of NATO, right? Apparently, the United States of America is going to begin withdrawing troops from Europe. And that was the NATO ambassador saying this. And I am pleased to hear that this is happening. Good, says I, because NATO and the European Union can go fight their own genocidal wars. I don't think you and I, our children, our grandchildren should not be fighting wars for Europeans who don't want peace, who want to destroy themselves, who want to attack Russia. I don't want any part of it. It's like having that drunk asshole of a friend that I'm sure we've all had at least one in our time, right? Who has a drink. Whoa, I'm drunk. I'm going to go start a fight. And then they expect you to fight with them. It's like, look, I'm your friend, but you're a fucking idiot. You're starting a fight. You're causing trouble. You're going to get us all either beat, arrested, or fucking killed, right? With friends like that, who needs enemies? And that's exactly what I see Europe as. Not the people of Europe who I love, but the politicians of Europe who I despise because of what they're doing to their own people. right? Europe, the people are fighting back. The people are marching. In Ireland, they're beating the snot out of criminal invaders, and they're marching to fight for their countries and screaming and yelling, we want them out. Same with England and a lot of other European nations. The people are rejecting. Now, that doesn't mean the cheating by the political left, the European Union, the communist socialist bastards, is continuing. Today, they had a flip-flop in Romania. Romania is having an election. The Trump Make Romania Great Again, Murga, the Trump type candidate was way up, and now it's flipped somehow. And the freedom guy, he's shot straight up in the polls, and now all of a sudden back down the other way. Nothing's changed. Romania still wants to be free. Romania doesn't want to be invaded by illegals. Romania doesn't want taxes. They don't want green taxes. They don't want their power grids destroyed. They don't want their economies crashed. They don't want their culture creamed. But we're supposed to believe. So I think Tom Luongo on social media said, look, here's the programming because, well, this is the reality they want people to see. So when it happens, they can accept it. In other words, they're being programmed. Oh, the poll says they're going to win. So when they cheat in the election, the people go, well, I guess that freedom guy wasn't as popular as we thought. When in fact, it is more popular. In fact, in America, the information coming out over the weekend that the 2020 election for president in the United States of America is beyond a shadow of a doubt stolen, fraudulent, corrupt, and unlawful. In other words, Biden never was a legitimate president. Let me say it again. Biden never was a legitimate president. The information is in Washington. The bureaucrats, the politicians, law enforcement, the judges, the president, they all have the information. Now, do something with the information. That's what I want. Do something with the information. I'm tired of the promises. I'm tired of the threats. I want something to be done with the information. Hopefully, folks, we get it. Hopefully, we get it. I'm telling you, governments, folks, they're full of shit. A news article came up today that the government of Mexico is suing an American social media producer. Now, the guy that they're suing, I don't like. I think, well, one of his staff, his top staff guys, is a child molesting pedophile freak. And Mr. Beast is his name. He looks like a creepy child sniffer at the very least. That's what he looks like. What he really is, I don't know. But he goes by Mr. Beast. He's not a beast as in muscles. He's not a beast intellectually, in my opinion. I don't know why he's called Mr. Beast. But it worked. He is incredibly famous, incredibly wealthy, and powerful now that he's Mr. Beast. So the Mexican government is now suing Mr. Beast. For what, you ask? Well, for exploiting the Mayan ruins in a video that Mr. Beast has on his social media platforms. This is ridiculous. Governments around the world, folks, are desperate. Now, the country of Mexico is worried about Mr. Beast exploiting the Mayan ruins because he made money showing a video of them. Mexico, my friends, exploits everyone and everything within its borders. And then it lies about all of it. In fact, I'm not even going to pick on Mexico anymore. All governments are full of shit about exploitation, about corruption, about lawlessness, right? Governments, including the United States, are full of shit. Just look how the United States banks. the financiers. The politicians exploit children sexually, then pretend there's no Epstein list. Yeah. Oh, that's bad to do all these things, but we're not going to prosecute anyone, or we're not going to release the lists, right? And then they shit on us. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Folks, by the way, we're just short of 400 people at the 2-hour mark. We've got under 5 minutes left. The show's going to end unless we get a bunch of super chats, which happens from time to time. Super chats right up there. By the way, Dan, that scotch has great medicinal value. 2 hours, 400 people almost. What a great show. I want to thank you guys. And governments, they're corrupt, they're liars, they're full of shit. It's up to you and me to force them to do something, right? Trump wants to make a difference. Trump wants to be an American hero. You bet he does, right? He could fix America, protect America, save America. Who wouldn't want that as a legacy for your own family? I would love to have that as a legacy for my family. Anyone with the last name I have, they could be proud of it. That's really kind of what I do here is I want to help save America. I want to do my part. I want to show the world that I'm a patriot. I want to encourage other patriots to join me. I want all of us as patriots to make the changes necessary in this country to fix it. And if fighting is to be had, I want to be part of that fight. Whether it's with guns and ammunition or fucking rocks and sticks, however it happens, I'm going to be a part of that fight. Crazy business. Now, I just talked to, let me finish up with this. Anyways, thank all of you. Thank you guys all so much. In fact, we're right at the end of the show here. And Chin Music must have got tied up. Possible family dinner, something incredible. But he did his $53.08. That's $50 and a 308 super chat donation. So, in your absence, on absentia, Chin Music, semper fi to you, brother. That's good. Smooth. Like mother's milk. I was just talking about the corruption in government. And it trickles down to everybody in government, including the smallest of family members. For example, Malia Obama, right? This is one of the daughters of Mike and Barry. Malia Obama has been accused of absolutely ripping off an indie film to make her Nike television sneaker commercial. She was the director of it. But the scenes from this commercial exactly mirror a film, one of these indie, independent, artsy-fartsy films. Just like her adopted parents, her allegedly adopted parents, Mike and Barry Obama. She's a fraud. She learned from her parents, from the Obamas. She learned from the Clintons. She learned from the Pelosi's. She learned from the Schumers. She learned from everybody. The Bidens, everybody, just looking around in her world. Everyone is fraudulent. Ridiculous fraudsters. So she's figuring out, hey, why not? Why not be a part of that system? Well, that's exactly what she's done. She's full of shit. Are you surprised? I'm not. Now, Mikey G says, Buzzards got to eat, just like the worms. That's a line from The Outlaw Josie Vales, starring Clint Eastwood. I tell you what. The Joe Biden thing about him and his cancer and being sick very quickly here, very quickly. Back in 2022, someone found a video of Biden where he said he had cancer. And his brother Frank, in July of 2024, which is last summer, blurted that Joe was terminally ill. Right? Yeah. So they're trying to pretend like, yeah, this just came up. Well, it's supposedly been around for a while. His doctor is in big trouble for lying about it. The whole thing is incredible. I mean, what's going on in this world, folks? We got a bunch of grandstanding bullshitters in Washington, D.C., their families, the Bidens, the Obamas. But what's going on that's bigger than that? I don't give a shit about Biden's cancer. You know what I care about? I care about the judicial coup d'etat, the judicial insurrection. And Matt Gaetz said, quote, "We cannot be tolerant of this judicial coup. We have to thoroughly reject unconstitutional nationwide injunctions. I would like to see the Supreme Court of the United States and the entire federal bench suspended for egregious acts of insurrection. Suspend them. That's it. You're done. And if they have been found guilty of committing crimes against America, they should be held accountable in a military court, a tribunal. And then when order is again to be understood in the judicial system, they can be once again, I think that these judges, whether Supreme Court or appellate court or federal court, they can once again be appointed and the Senate can confirm them. But we need to get rid of these sons of bitches. They are evil and fucked up. And the Supreme Court is not a bastion of intelligentsia any longer. You've got Alito and you've got Clarence Thomas, and the rest are fucking worthless traitors. I think they're compromised. And that's my belief. I don't know what you believe, but I'm sure you believe it very strongly. Looks like we got one more comment here. Where are we going with this? And it's Boomer. He's back. This is the first time it is a Boomer hat trick on the Sunday Night Live. He says, Trump is like the captain of the Titanic because if America goes, we all go. That's an interesting statement, Boomer. The captain of the Titanic. I think it was Captain Smith. He went down with the ship. And it appears that, well, Trump is at the helm, and he's gonna steer this ship where he wants, and where it goes, yes, we all go. That's what it seems like. And if America goes, it's going to take Canada, Boomer. If America goes, it's going to take Australia. If America goes, there goes England, Scotland, Ireland, the Netherlands, all of Europe as well. If China goes down, that's going to make a hell of a splash and fuck us all up. Japan can go down. Folks, we're all interconnected. It's a global economic mess. It's a global economic mess. It's a global system. And because of that, we're all screwed. That's why they're trying to move away from it. The, shall we say, the United States of America is the world reserve currency, trying to move away from that and go to a multipolar world where people are only allowed, or nations are only allowed to operate upfront and on a system that's backed by a basket of commodities like gold, silver, copper, other elements. We're going to find out, though, Boomer. And I don't want Canada to go down. I certainly don't want America to go down. We're in for the fight of our lives. Are you prepared for what's coming? I'm sure you're more prepared than most. God bless you all. God bless America. Semper Fi. and chance favors the prepared mind. I'll see you 0 dark 30, 0 dark 30 tomorrow. Until then, be safe, eyes open, get prepared.